Hey, Go Tribe. Now, there's something about people coming out to apologize that really gives me the ick. And you know why? Because half the time when people come out to publicly apologize for saying something or doing something wrong, it's not because they feel bad or they've magically changed their way of thinking and feeling, but it's a way just to not receive the backlash. Let's watch this video. Now, there's something that will never sit right with anyone making jokes or making sexual advances or even implying with their music about inserting a catheter into a woman or a man. Now, this guy in the video is a nurse who made this video and he thought it was a joke. It was funny to him, and he has recently come to apologize. And it's so funny when I listen to his accent. He has a Nigerian accent, so I'm like, So we've extended this lawless behavior outside. Now, why the public is outraged and why they've even suspended him from his nursing duties is because, first of all, a catheter is something that is inserted into your urethra. It helps you doing surgery. You cannot have a full bladder, right, doing surgery because there can be damages occurring and so on. And of course, there are many, many more medical terms for why they use this. Now, I've always found it very strange when people make jokes about moments like this, especially when addressing women. And this story actually triggered a memory of mine. Now, me in general, when going to the gynecologist, women, it's important. At least twice a year, you should go to your gynecologist. When I was in Romania, I found it a little bit easier to go to a male gynecologist, and I will explain why. Now, the females, you would think that when you're working with female gynecologists, right, they will be more tender because they understand what goes on down there, right? A woman has the ability to expand, but also you handle it with care. Women generally, when they are down there, they are so aggressive, like open up, they will insert whatever they need to insert, not even caring about how you feel or how lubricated you are. So with men, they are more gentle, they talk to you, your body relaxes. So I've always gone to a male gynecologist, right? But I've never had issues with them till I reach Nigeria, the almighty Nigeria. They have the most unethical practices here, and I've had this situation happen with two different male doctors. Now, the first one was when I was going to for my fibroid exam, surgery. I had to go do some checkups for the embassy. The guy, the way he was even in there was so uncomfortable. I couldn't even look at him in his face, but I really needed those documents out. He was very unprofessional, talking very to me. I'm like, you know what? F it. Keep it pushing. Now, when I moved back to Nigeria, I had to go to, I think, change of environment and all that. My body was reacting funny. So I went for a checkup. I'm like, let me just find out. I wasn't active to say, oh, something was wrong with me. And before I left Romania, I did all my tests. Now, I get there. I lay down on the table. I'm always very uncomfortable at a gyno because, that is your cooch, for the love of God. Like, it's your private zones. Now, I get there, I'm laying down, legs all, you know how it goes, legs up in the air, booty all down and all. So I'm sitting waiting for the doctor, and he comes in, hello, hi, how are you, blah, 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 blah. Why are you here? I said, see, I think I'm reacting to change of weather. My body is naturally very sensitive, and even sweat can agitate me, that's why I don't like heat. So he gets in there, he's like, oh, let me take a look. He puts on his gloves, he's doing his thing. Now, there's a way a doctor would check you that it's like something's off. He was more like he was in there, right? And then in the middle of doing the test, this guy's asking me if I'm sexually active and all that, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Do I have a boyfriend? And I found that line of questioning very strange. I'm like, no, I don't. And then imagine while he's inside my hoo-ha, he's asking me out on a date in my hoo-ha. And I'm like, what the flying fuck is this? Mind you, this doctor is married. And I'm telling him, like, listen, please, can we focus on what we have to do? I need to know what's up. We run tests. But the way he was talking to me and like, just, I'm like, God have mercy. Like, this is so unprofessional. I couldn't wait to get up out of there. How can you be asking a woman out while you're in her, like, where is that done? And I did all my tests. I ran out of there. I was so happy. Everything was good. I was just reacting to sweat, and a few days later, I get a phone call. And I'm like, hello, who is this? And he says, oh, this is the doctor, da, 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 da. And I'm like, why is he calling me? Because normally your results will come on your email, and if there's any issues, you can go back to the hospital. But I wasn't going back there anyways. And of course, he wanted to see if I was still interested in going out with him. And of course, I had to give him a whole story of how unethical this is. And I'm sorry, even if you were the last man on earth, it wouldn't be you. You cannot be... No, just wouldn't be you. Of course, he didn't take it nicely. I think about a year or two later, I bumped into him in the mall, and he was with a girl. And I'm like, aren't you married? Who is this one? They were doing their whole thing in the mall. And he stops to talk to me, and I'm like, and I just kept it pushing. I'm like, yo, can we take our jobs seriously? That's why, as long as I am in Nigeria, I would never go to a male gyno anymore, because they are very unprofessional. They don't know how to draw the line. It is already very uncomfortable for a woman to be in that vulnerable position, asking... See, we know they try. So what I do from now on is, if I go to a woman doctor, I'm just going to tell her from the get-go, like, honey, be tender with me, because mama bruise easily. Like, don't be all aggressive in there and all that. But for me to go to a male doctor, it ain't going to happen. Especially if I got to be with my, like, not going to happen. Anyway, have a nice day. You guys need to be careful what you be posting online and the way you address people, because, whoo, you don't make those kind of jokes, especially when you're in a work environment.